I'll try it.
This one I need to be told.
Oh, we almost dropped his wrist. So cute.
Got a picture of that one?
Yeah.
The lady needs to get through.
Oh, sorry.
I'm taking a video.
Hello, good morning. Can everyone hear me? Awesome. So, welcome to our otter enclosure. I'll start by introducing you. So that one over there, that is Ollie. He's my silvery coloured one. He is 15 years old and he's been here since he was 1. So he's been here quite a long while. And this one right here, more chocolatey coloured one. This is Sophie and she's just had her 13th birthday a couple of days ago. And she's only been here about 2.5 years, nearly 3 years. So she's doing really, really well. She's getting used to us, so she's fantastic. When you introduce new animals together, you don't know they're going to get on, but they do get on really well, so that's really good. Okay, so these are our Asian short-clawed otters. As the name suggests, they come from Asia, and they span from the Himalayas down to Indonesia, and they're found in mangrove swamps and paddy fields. You do find them in coastal areas, but you do not find them out in deep water. Now, these are the smallest of the 13 different species of otters that you find around the world. The aptly named giant otter gets a max of about 6 foot, so way, way bigger than me. You find them in South America in the Amazon. And we do have native otters in this country as well. You're very, very lucky. You might see them in Lake Windermere, obviously. They get much bigger than these two. They get maximum 4 foot. So I'm about 5 foot, maybe jump off my head, about the size of the otters in the UK. So they are a lot bigger than we think. A little bit more solitary, a little bit more nocturnal, so we don't really see them out and about that often. But when we do, they probably see you before they see. Hello. They see you before we see them. So they'll be gone and out of view before you've even known they're there. Okay, lots of features on otters. They have that lovely long luscious tail that helps them to change direction in the water because it must be very tricky to catch a fish with your bare hands. So that tail helps them change direction quickly. It's also really useful for them when they're climbing about as well. So they're actually a little bit more land-based than we think. No, I'm going to smooch. When we think of otters, we sometimes think of sea otters. Sea otters spend most of the time in the water. Only 2 out of the 13 species of otters spend most of the time in the water. That's going to be a sea otter and a marine otter. All the others actually spend a load more time on land. You can tell that by the webbing on their hands. If you look closely on these guys, they've got a partially webbed foot. The webbing only is halfway down the fingers, which allows a little bit more dexterity, a little bit more finger food when they're digging around in the soil, when they're climbing up things. So they are actually known to climb around things, so that tail's very useful for that as well. We used to have a live tree in here, and our previous female used to climb up it on occasion as well. So very, very dexterous with those hands. But then their diet's going to be a little bit different. So a sea otter spending all the time in the water, they're going to eat things like fish, sea urchins and crabs and things like that. Whereas these guys that live on a bit more land, their diet's going to be a bit wider, so they're going to have things like snakes and toads and birds and eggs, anything they can find because they're opportunistic feeders. So feed on anything that they can find. Because they have to consume a quarter of their body weight. Now to put that in perspective, it's equivalent of a fully grown man having 71 burgers a day, or a 6-year-old child having 300 chicken nuggets every single day. It's a lot of chicken nuggets, even for a 6-year-old. So it's a lot of food they have to find out there in the wild. So it's a tricky life for an otter out there. They've got all sorts of issues to be dealing with. Very, very intelligent animals. So I'm going to do a training session after my talk, so please do stick around if you want to see that. There are things that we get them to do. So we get them to station as you saw me, and we can get them to spin. What we're doing is we're checking any movement, any arthritis development, because they're actually a little bit old. Now, life expectancy in the wild is actually 10 years, because Ollie being 15, we've got Sophie at 13. They're exceeding that, but they do technically do that in captivity because of all that food that we can feed them. They're really, really high metabolism, so they're using all that food really, really quickly. And they're semi-aquatic mammals, so they go in the water, they get chilly, so they're using a lot of energy to keep themselves warm. So that's one of the reasons they have to eat so much food. So very, very intelligent, yes. So another thing that we get them to do is we get them in a crate as well. So if we ever have to them up to avoid the bitiness. They are actually extremely bitey animals, as they want to be. So if you are very lucky and see an otter in the wild, don't go and stroke it. If anyone's heard of Terry Nutkin from the Really Wow show back in the 1980s, he actually lost one of his fingers. It was bit clean off by one of our native otters. He, of course, became the otter. Okay, other features on otters, they've got all those bristly whiskers on that face that helps them to find their food. Their eyesight's much better on in water than on land. They're designed for water. I know, isn't it charming? But these guys have extremely smelly hair, I'm afraid so. When you eat things that like these guys eat, when I feed them a chick or a fish, they'll eat all the scales, all the bones, absolutely everything. It's really good. They've got a really good digestive system, but it also produces extremely smelly poo. So just be pleased you're not in here smelling what that comes out. And that is their toilet area, so they do stick to a certain area for when they go to the toilet. So I'm going to depress you slightly right now, otters are in all around the world. The numbers are really reducing. This particular species is classed as vulnerable. The main reasons are the usual. You've got habitat loss, you've got pollution, all that kind of thing. But also, this species is a pet trade. Now, because they're the smallest, and so say they look the cutest, of all the species of otters around the world, and also they live in big family groups. So what happens, unfortunately, they actually will find a large family and then, of course, try and capture the whole family from the wild. Now, these do not make good pets, as I say, extremely bitey. When they eat things like a chick, they'll bite right through the bone, they'll bite right through the carapace of a crab, so you really don't want to be dealing with that. Also, as I say, very, very smelly. And we want to keep our wild animals wild, don't we? So things that we can do, very, very simple. If we see a picture of an otter in a pet environment on Instagram or any social media or anything like that, what we do is we just don't like it or share it. It just doesn't spread that word of them being a pet around the world that looks a bit quicker. And of course, we need to educate people and make sure that people know that they need to be wild and stay wild. Okay, so they look like they want more food from me, so I'm going to leave it there. If anyone has any questions after I've done my training, I will come out for any questions, okay? So have a fantastic rest of the day and enjoy watching these silly otters.
They're doing it again at 12:30. Surely they don't need to feed them again.
She's gonna.
It's just 11:30.
Right.